Good afternoon, everybody. You may take your seat. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, so for today, we are going to discuss a new topic. But before that, do we have any absent for today?
No.
So everybody's here. Very good. We have a very good attendance for today. All right. So let us do a warm-up activity. Remember yesterday what we discussed yesterday? Do you still remember what we discussed yesterday?
Yes.
Very good. Remember that we discussed yesterday about decimal and the place value. If you can recall, we have a set of numbers and we always say that in decimal, you always look for the decimal point and anything that goes to your left is actually the numbers and have their own specific place value. Same thing, when you go from the decimal point, going to your right, there are also specific names or place value. Let us recall that from your decimal point, going to your left, the first one, the first digit, you call that place value as?
Unit.
Very good. Next, the second place value, you call that as?
Tens.
Alright, and then third, followed by?
Hundreds.
And then the fourth one is?
Thousands.
And so on and so forth until you reach millions, right?
Yes.
Okay, how about if we go from the decimal point going to your right? We say that the first digit is called?
Tens.
Good. Next, the second digit is?
Hundreds.
Okay, and then the third one, you call that as?
Thousands.
Very good. Now, take note also that if you convert these words into numbers, this is the equivalent. So unit is equal to 1. When you say tens, that is 1 and 0. Hundreds, you have 1 and then 2 zeros. 1,000 is equal to 1 and then 3 zeros. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, and then when you talk about tens, hundreds, and thousands, this is simply the fraction of the other one. So for example, tens, that is equal to 1 over 10. Hundreds is 1 over 100. And thousands is equal to 1 over 1,000. Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So today, we are going to move on with our next topic, which is about multiplication and division by the decimal system, of course, by tens, hundreds, and thousands. Alright? So, before we do that, let us first discuss what is our expectation or what should everybody, at the end of this session, what should you be learning? Okay, let's look at the board. The first objective for today is each and every one of you should be able to learn how to multiply and divide decimals by tens, hundreds, thousands. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. The second one is at the end of the period, each and every one should also learn how to multiply and divide using the tens, hundreds, and thousands. Alright? Do you have any questions so far?
No.
None? Okay, so let's proceed. Let us first discuss our first objective, which is multiplication and division using our tens, hundreds, and thousands. Alright? So, we say that to be able to do the multiplication and division, we have to follow a certain rule. Okay, do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, let us discuss each rule. The first rule for multiplication is, when you multiply a number by a positive power of 10, the decimal place, remember the decimal point?
Yes.
The decimal point moves to the right. Where is your right? This is your right. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. However, when you do division, you do the opposite. If multiplication, you go to your right. Your division, from the decimal point, you go to your left. Okay? Let us have an example. Where's our chalk? Okay, let's have an example on the board. For example, you have 23 times 10. Okay, so this is the problem. 23 times 10. We say that in multiplication, when you multiply a positive power of 10, the decimal place moves to the right. Okay? Now, if you look at the number, we have a given of 10 multiplied to 23. Where is the decimal point of 23? Yes, Dean? Yes? Okay, very good, Dean. Alright, you may take your seat. Alright, so, in the number 23, the decimal point is at the end of number 3. So, if we say that multiplication, the decimal place moves to the right, that means when you multiply this, 23, and this is the decimal point, you move one decimal place to the right. So therefore, you move it to your right one space and then you put 0. Okay? So therefore, 23 times 10 is equal to 230. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, let's have another example. What about 0.8 multiplied by 1,000? Okay, so 0.08 or 0.8 times 1,000. How many zeros do you have?
3.
So therefore, from the decimal point, you are doing multiplication, you will move the decimal place 3 times because you have 1, 2, and 3. So you have your first 0, this is your second 0, and this is your third. So therefore, if this is 0.08 or 0.8, you move your decimal point 3 times because there are 3 zeros to your right. So you have 1, and then you have your, 1, and then your decimal point will be here, right? And then another 1, this will be 0. So you have 1 and 2, and then the third one will be your answer. So 0.8 times 1,000 is equal to
800.
0, 0, or 800. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you have any questions so far?
No.
None? Okay. Now, let us have an example on the second one, which is division. Okay? Let's have your example. Alright? For example, you have 35 divided by 10. So we said multiplication, the decimal point goes to your right depending on the number of zeros. If you say division, the decimal point now goes to your left. And it also depends on the number of zeros. Okay? So for this example, how many zeros do we have?
1.
Where is the decimal point of 35? Bean again. Where's the decimal point? Okay, very good. Now Bean. Okay, so if your decimal point is here, then, and we say you have only 1 0, so 35, and this is your decimal point, you move to your left when you divide. So you move one place value. So therefore, 35 divided by 10 becomes 3.5. Do you understand?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, let's have another example. What about 590 divided by, let's have 1,000. What is the answer? So again, 590, the decimal point is at the end of the number 590. So you have 590, and this is your decimal point. If you have 3, what do? Your decimal place value goes to your left, and it depends on how many zeros you have. How many zeros do we have for this number?
3.
Okay, so your decimal point will go to your left 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So decimal point will now be here. So therefore, 590 divided by 1000 is equal to 0.590. Copy?
Yes.
Okay, no questions so far? Are we good?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, let us see if each and every one of you was able to understand. I am going to group our class into 4 groups, okay? Can you please stand up, everyone? Alright. I want you to count 1, 2, 3, 4, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on until we reach the 4th table, okay? Alright, let's start with you, Bean. Count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1,
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, very good. So all number 1, please go to this table. All those who counted number 2, you go to this table. Number 3 at the back, and number 4 on that area. Go. So I'm going to show you the problems that you will solve. So it will be divided into 4 groups. So you are already divided into 4 groups. And then each group will be given a set of examples to solve as a group. So later you will see 4 boxes and you will see the numbers that you will solve. This is your activity. So this is group number 1. You are going to do this. Group number 2 is here. Number 3, you're going to do this. And then group 4, you're going to do this. Remember that, for example, 100 is equal to, when you get the number, that is equal to 100, right? Okay. 100 is also equal to, in the decimal system, 10 times 10. Do you remember?
Yes.
10 times 10 is 100. 10 times 10 is also equal to 10 raised to the 2nd power. That means 10 is your base and 2 is your power. The 2, or the power, will tell you how many zeros are there or how many times do you multiply the base. So for example, 10 raised to the 2nd power, that means 10 times 10, or there are 2 zeros. Yeah, remember?
Yes.
Okay, for example, 1,000. You have 1,000. If you do this, or if you write this in numerical value, that is equal to 1, 0, 0. You have 3 zeros. That's 1,000, right? And then this is also equal to 10 times 10 times 10. In the decimal system, 1,000 is also equal to 10 times 10 times 10. Do you agree? Do you remember? Yes. And 10 times 10 times 10 can also be written or equal to 10 raised to the 3rd power. And so on and so forth. So now do you remember?
Yes.
Okay. So for example, you have 3.65 and you are asked to multiply it by 10 raised to the 2nd power. How do you solve this? Your 10 raised to the 2nd power is also equal to 10 times 10, right? So this is 3.65. So 3.65, 10 times 10 is equal to, you have 1 and 2 zeros. You have 2 zeros. So that means this is the same as 100. So as what we discussed a while ago, the number of zeros will tell you how many movements of the decimal point. So you have here the decimal point, you have 2 zeros, or you have the power of 2. That means you're going to move your decimal point to the, where do you move? To the right. Very good. So that's 1 and 2. So therefore, 3.65 times 100 is equal to 365. Is that clear?
Yes.
Very good. Okay. You may now proceed with the solution, and then let me know if you are already done, okay? So you use your notebook and then you solve it as a group. Okay, you have to discuss among yourselves how to solve the problem, and then get one representative who will write the answers on the board. You may write your answer. You can erase that on the board, okay? How about group 4? Are you done? Yes? Finish? Okay, who is your representative? So for group number 1, you have answer is 320, 4,400. Okay, let's see the answers if we have the same answers. So number 1 have 320, 4,400, 0.39 or 390. 0.076. Very good. Group 1. Very good. Okay, next. For group number 2, let's have number 2. 190, 7,500, 0.0692, and 52 or 52.00. Very good. Well done, group 2. Alright, how about group number 3? Where's group number 3? Their answers are 460, 29,000 or 2,900, 1.2325, 0.00496. Oh, that's an error. It should be 4, right? It should be 4. Why is it 96? Why is it 496?
What?
It's number 4. The given is 96 divided by 10 raised to the 3rd power. So the answer should be, there should be no 4 here, right? The answer should be 0. Let's solve it. Number 4. So the given is, or the problem is, 96 divided by 10 raised to the 3rd power. So 10 raised to the 3rd power is again equivalent to
1,000.
Very good. So you have 3 zeros. Where is the decimal point of 96? It's at the end. So how many times do you move the decimal place value?
3
times. And where do you go? Left or right?
Left.
So from here you have 1, 2, 3, and 3. So therefore this is 0.96. So the answer should be 0.096. Okay? Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. But everything is good except number 4 for group 3. Okay, but it's still very good. Okay? Next. How about group number 4? Verse 4 here. You have 840, 2,800, 3.90, and 0.05636. The answer is 00. Let's see. What is the given problem? It's 10 raised to the 4th power. See? So what do we do? How do we solve it? Okay. So the problem is 56.36 divided by 10 raised to the 4th power, right?
Yes.
So 10 raised to the 4th power is also equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 zeros, right?
Yes.
Okay. So since this is division, the decimal point is here. How many times you move the decimal value or the decimal point? 4. And where do you go? Left or right?
Left.
So from here you move 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you have 0, 0, and your decimal point will be here. Is it?
Yes.
Okay, so what should be the answer? It should be 0.00566. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So we're done with our activity for the group. Now let us see if each and everybody understood. Take your math notebook with you and then open your Math Links book, textbook. Okay? Go to page 5. And then you see there the exercise 1B. So individually, please solve number 1 and number 2. Okay? Number 1 and number 2. Okay? For your group here, individually, you will solve for number 1 and number 2. Okay? Got it? Okay, good. Go ahead. Where's your book? Okay. So in this page, you have exercise 1B, and then you calculate for number 1 and number 2. Okay, individually, okay? Okay. Put your solution in your notebook. Okay, where's your notebook? Do you have your notebook? Okay, good. Right. Okay. So number 1 and number 2, okay? Okay. Oh, okay. You're doing good. Okay, so can you please put on your paper, go to your notebook, and just a small piece of paper, can you write what have you learned today? And then teacher will collect the paper, okay? On a small piece of paper, yes, put your name. Can you put your English name instead? And then write there, what have you learned today? Okay? And then you submit to teacher, okay? You guys have a great weekend, okay? We don't have homework for today.
Yes!
On Thursday, alright?
Yes!
Goodbye everyone, and I'll see you on Thursday, okay?